I didn't expect my first real kiss to taste like cheap vodka and caramel corn. But that's exactly what happened, hidden behind a cracked porcelain mask in the middle of a crowded Halloween street. 1 second I was laughing at some stupid joke. The next his lips crashed into mine, reckless and warm, and everything I thought I knew about myself tilted sideways. And then he was gone. No name, no number. Just a laugh, wild and free like it didn't belong in this world, and a pair of eyes that burned right through me. That's all he left me with, his laugh, his eyes, and the memory of a kiss that felt like both a mistake and a miracle. Now I'm standing in the aftermath of it, wondering how the hell you're supposed to search for someone when all you know is the sound of their voice and the way their gaze cracked open something in you. In America, with millions of people, it feels impossible. But try telling my heart that. The night of that kiss is burned into my mind. Halloween in New Orleans. The streets were alive, buzzing with music, smoke, and drunken shouts. Fake blood dripped from costumes, neon lights bounced off wet pavement, and jack-o'-lanterns glowed from cracked porches like tired watchmen. I remember the weight of my own mask pressing against my skin, the way it trapped the heat of my breath, making me feel both safe and suffocated. I had gone with friends, but somewhere between the bars and the parades, I drifted away, swallowed by the crowd. That's when I heard Ithis laugh. It was sharp, unguarded, and something about it reached straight into me. I turned, and there he was, a tall figure in a black coat, his mask glinting under the streetlight. He was arguing with someone dressed as a zombie bartender, and every time he laughed, the sound cut through the chaos like it belonged only to me. And maybe that's why, when he finally stumbled into me, his drink sloshing onto my shirt, I didn't curse him out. I didn't even care. I just stared, and he stared back. The next few seconds are a blur. I remember his hand brushing mine. I remember the cool night air mixing with his warm breath. Then, without warning, without a skink, he kissed me. And God, it was a mess. Clumsy. Too fast. Tasting of alcohol and sugar. But it was real. So real I didn't want it to end. But it did. He pulled back, eyes wide, like he hadn't meant to do it. Like maybe he thought it was a joke, or a dare. Then he laughed soft this time, not sharp, not wild, but almost nervous. His eyes met mine again, and something in them told me he felt it too, even if he didn't want to admit it. Then he was gone, disappearing into the crowd, leaving me clutching at the space where his hand had brushed mine. Like maybe if I held tight enough, he'd come back. It's been a week, and I can't stop thinking about him. New Orleans is too big, too full of strangers, and yet I find myself scanning every corner, listening for that laugh, chasing shadows that don't belong to him. My friends think I'm insane. They laugh when I tell them I'm trying to find someone I kissed once, behind a mask, without knowing his name. But they didn't feel it. They didn't feel the way the world tilted, the way time bent, the way something inside me cracked open like glass under pressure. That kiss wasn't nothing, and I refused to let it vanish into smoke. I've started walking the streets at night, retracing my steps from that Halloween. The air still smells of beer and fried food, though the decorations are coming down. Every doorway I pass feels like it could hide him. Every laugh I hear makes me whip my head around, heart hammering, hoping it's him. But it never is. And then just when I'm about to give up, I hear it again. That laugh, clear, sharp, alive, stops me dead in my tracks. I follow it, my chest tightening with each step. My palms sweat. My throat goes dry. Because if it's him, if I actually find him, what the hell do I say? What if he doesn't remember me? What if that kiss was nothing more than drunken chaos to him, and I've been building a cathedral of feelings out of a single shaky moment? But then I see him, leaning against the wall of a corner bar, still in black, though the mask is gone now. His dark hair falls messily over his forehead, his jawline sharp under the glow of the streetlight. And those eyes, those same eyes that locked on mine that night, find me instantly. He freezes. I freeze. The laugh dies on his lips, replaced by something heavier, something that twists in my chest like fear and hope tangled together. And in that moment, I know, it wasn't nothing. It was everything. His eyes caught mine, and for a second it felt like the entire street stopped breathing. Music still pulsed in the background. Neon lights still flickered. People still shouted and stumbled drunk around us, but none of it mattered. It was just him and me, standing a few feet apart, both looking like we weren't sure whether to run or to stay. I forced myself forward. My legs were shaky, my chest tight, but I couldn't let this moment slip away again. "You?" I said, my voice low, rough with nerves. He blinked, like the word startled him. Then his lips curled into that same crooked smile I'd memorized from behind a mask. Me. Should have been funny. It should have broken the tension. But it didn't, because the silence that followed pressed heavy between us, thick with everything unsaid. Finally, I managed, "You kissed me." His smile faltered. He shoved his hands in his pockets, shifting his weight like a man preparing to run. "Yeah, I did." "Why?" That one word cut him open. I saw it in the way his jaw tightened, in the way his eyes flickered like a storm was raging inside them. "I don't know," he said at last, his voice softer, vulnerable. "I was drunk, stupid, caught up in the moment." He stopped, exhaled hard. "I didn't think you'd remember." "I remembered," I said, stepping closer. My heart hammered so loud I swore he could hear it. I remembered everything. Something shifted in his expression then. A crack in the armor. The mask he wore, not the Halloween one, but the real one, the one built from fear and pride, slipped just enough for me to see the boy underneath. "God," he whispered, almost to himself. "I didn't want to find you again, because if I did, I'd have to admit it meant something." I closed the distance, standing right in front of him now. My hand hovered near his, just like that night, close enough to feel his warmth but not yet touching. It did mean something. He swallowed hard. His eyes searched mine like he was waiting for me to flinch, to laugh, to call it a joke. But I didn't. I wouldn't, because I knew the truth. And then slowly, like gravity was pulling us together, leaned in. The kiss was different this time. No masks, no noise, no chaos, just us. His lips pressed against mine gently, like a question, and I answered with everything I had, with all the sleepless nights and endless searching, with all the hope that had carried me here. When we broke apart, his forehead rested against mine. His breath was uneven, his hand finally clutching mine tight. "You don't even know my name," he murmured. "Then tell me." He laughed softly, the kind of laugh that had haunted me, guided me, saved me. "Eli." "Eli," I repeated, tasting it on my tongue like it was already a part of me. "I'm Noah." His eyes softened. "Noah," he echoed, and somehow the sound of it in his voice made the world feel right again. The weeks that followed weren't easy. Eli was guarded, terrified of what it meant to want another boy, terrified of what people would say. He'd grown up in a small Texas town, where the church bells were louder than your own heartbeat, where love like ours was whispered like a curse. He'd left home trying to escape it, but the shame clung to him like a second skin. And me? I was no better. I had spent years pretending, burying myself in the safety of maybe and someday, convincing myself that my heart didn't need more than friendship and laughter, until that kiss ripped the lie apart. But we tried. We met in cafes with sticky floors and late-night diners where nobody cared who you were. We walked the riverfront in silence, sometimes holding hands, sometimes too afraid. We argued. We confessed. We learned the edges of each other, the scars, the fears, the dreams we didn't dare speak aloud until then. Every time Eli tried to pull away, that laugh of his betrayed him. It would slip out, unguarded, and remind me that beneath all his fear, he wanted this. Wanted me, and every time I doubted myself, he'd look at me with those storm-colored eyes, grounding me, reminding me that I wasn't alone anymore. One night, as winter crept in and the air turned sharp with cold, we stood on the same street where it had all begun. The decorations were gone, the lights dimmer, but the memory still lived there between us. Eli took off his gloves, shoved them in his pocket, and grabbed my hand with bare fingers. His grip was firm, no hesitation this time. "You're not just a mistake," he said. his voice steady despite the way it trembled at the edges. "You're the only thing I've been sure about in a long time." I squeezed his hand back, feeling heat rise in my chest. "Then don't run. Stay." He smiled soft, real, nothing like the mask he once wore. "I'm done running." And there, under the faint glow of street lamps, with no masks left to hide behind, we kissed again. Not clumsy, not rushed, but certain. A promise sealed with the taste of winter air and the sound of his laugh echoing against my lips. Maybe love doesn't always arrive wrapped in perfection. Maybe it stumbles in on Halloween night, drunk and reckless, stealing your first kiss when you least expect it. Maybe it hides behind masks and fear, forcing you to chase it down, to fight for it, to demand it be seen. But when you find it, when you finally hold it without disguise, it's worth everything. Because love, real love, doesn't care about the masks you've worn or the lies you've told yourself. It just wants to be free. And for the first time, standing there with Eli's hand in mine, I felt free too. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.